Hello everybody, named Shalice. Welcome out everybody to my House of the Dragon Sin Counter. We're doing episode 7 right now. And I gotta say this, if I could get a sin for the freaking director who made this entire dang episode, especially that nighttime scene between Daemon and Rhaenyra, he could go fuck himself. But other than that, let's do sin counters for now. The team green, the team black. The blacks lead 29 and the greens have 19. So let's see who commits the most sins in episode 7. Start off with the greens. Alicent slices Rhaenyra's hand. I get where Alicent was coming from. I get why she was angry and frustrated with her husband and her son losing an eye, but it's no excuse to hurt Rhaenyra in this sense. I understand it, but she snapped. I'm taking in this sin. Another sin I'm going to give to Alicent is the fact is you still want Luke's eye. You still want Luke's eye after everything that's happened, after the king made another law that protects his grandchildren over your own children. I understand where she's coming from, why she wants revenge, because her son was maimed and Rhaenyra's kids was not. I understand where she's coming from, but again, it's a sin. Yeah, you can't harm a child, in my opinion. That's an automatic sin right there. Another thing, she still wants to keep Larys around. Larys, who, I don't know, wants permission to take Luke's eye. That's a sin right there. You keep having him around just in case you need someone at your side. It's understandable, but again, it's a sin right there to keep Larys around. And even though he's blackmailing you, you have no choice but to stick with him. Another one is another sin I'm going to give to for Team Green, again, is Larys, because the fact is he offers to take Luke's eye. I mean, he's willing to maim a child in the name of the queen. And luckily, Alicent does not agree to it, but then again, she still keeps him around. So, 1 sin for Larys, 3 sins for Alicent. Now, let's be something very clear, because this is, if I would have to make this video a lot longer than I need to, but the fact is, I am not including a sin for Aemond or any of the children, because the fact of the matter is this. The entire scene, I would go back and forth for every single punch, for every single insult. Each kid would have a freaking sin. I did include a previous episode about how Aemond was bullied by Rhaenyra's children. So should he be? Should he not call them bastards? I mean, they bully him, so he calls them bastards. So that's an even split right there. And what would I really say? I mean, Aemond technically. He didn't steal Vhagar. The problem is that he did it right when the girls lost their mother and all that stuff, and the girls wanted to claim it. Granted, a dragon can only be claimed by if it wants to be claimed. It's not a freaking pet. Just the fact is, I'm not going to give a sin to Aegon, Aemond, or any Rhaenyra's kids because there was faults on many sides. Aemond said stuff to the girls punched him, then they all ganged up on him, 4 against 1. Then Aemond was going to use a rock. Then one kid used a knife. I think Aemond said it best. It was a fair exchange. He may have lost an eye, but he gained a dragon. So I'm not counting this for a sin for any of the kids. I'm not even counting it as a sin towards Luke, who took Aemond's eye. I'm not counting towards any of it. So I'm sorry. None of these are a sin on to the kids. So Aemond is clear free. Luke is clear free. Rhaenyra's kids are sin free, and so is freaking Daemon's kids as well. Now, let's go to the blacks. The blacks, we have Daemon and Rhaenyra. And oh boy, do they do a lot of stupid shit. Okay, because since they're both 2 individuals, I'm counting them as sin with each other. Each one gets a sin. They sleep together the same day at the funeral of Daemon's first wife. That's a no. I'm sorry, that's a no. 2, you fake Laenor's death. Now, the problem is, even though it's a good idea that Laenor is technically dead, technically you spared his life, and now he's living his best life somewhere else. That is good. But the major problem is this. Everyone believes you killed him, including the in-laws, including the Velaryons, which causes conflict between you and your future in-laws. I mean, and Rhaenyra's past in-laws. You're making an enemy into the Velaryons. Okay, 3rd sin. You get merely married after the funeral. You get immediately married. How about you wait a couple months? How about you wait a year, then you make it official? Nope, immediately. That doesn't help people ideas or the entire realm or what people believe. I'm pretty sure Alicent believes you killed your husband. I'm pretty sure all the Greens, I'm pretty sure King Viserys even believed it too. He's like, oh, my poor daughter, she got married, her husband died. Let me go see if anyone could comfort her. Oh, wait, she married her uncle immediately. Let's just say the blacks had to shoot themselves in their own foot. And there's no other perfect example than Daemon and Rhaenyra. And the other four and five sins I want to give to them is the fact they don't care about the kids who are already grieving. I mean, Rhaenyra's children lost their father 2 times. They lost 2 father figures twice. They lost Laenor because the youngest son, Luke, believed that his father was Laenor. Jace believed his father was a son. He was a son of Harwin, and Harwin died, so he was still grieving over the loss of his father. And then you also got Daemon's kids. Daemon's kids who are Valyrian, who just lost their mother, who just went to the funeral, and they're witnesses at the wedding. Come on. You don't give a shit about your kids. You just, at this point, you're not giving a shit. You just don't care. Number 5, I'm going to give to the other sin I want to give to Daemon and Rhaenyra because they both support a law that is going to maim or kill anybody who dares question the legitimacy of their children. Granted, this is political, but the fact is everyone knows your kids are obvious bastards. They're not black. They're not white. They don't have white hair. The fact that matters is you're now supporting a law where anyone who dares speak out against your children's legitimacy, you're going to have their tongues ripped out. I've been saying this once, say it a million times, when I'll go back to Tyrion Lannister about what he said. When you start cutting off people's tongues, you're not proving them to be a liar. You prove that you're afraid of what they speak. So that is 5 sins for each character for both Daemon and Rhaenyra. And I'm going to give Rhaenyra one more sin because Rhaenyra wants Aemon questioned. Because in that entire scene, when everyone's asking, what happened, about what happens when the kids fought, and then Luke says about, like, oh, he called us bastards, and then Rhaenyra's like, Aemon must be questioned thoroughly to figure out where he heard such slanders. And when it means by question, and people don't seem to realize in medieval time periods, sharply question does not mean, oh, we have a nice talk with him and all that stuff. Sharply questioned means, oh, I don't know. Medieval torture. Now, would Viserys do this? No. But the fact is, he makes a law immediately afterwards that questions the legitimacy of Rhaenyra's children doesn't help matters. So out of the total sins, I'm giving 5 points for Daemon, 6 points for Rhaenyra, 11 sins total for the blacks. That makes their entire score 40 sins total. And Team Greens has 23 sins. And people think I'm being too lenient on the blacks. I hate to tell you this, but the blacks' own enemy is not the Greens, it's themselves. The blacks, Daemon, Rhaenyra, could have saved themselves a lot of headaches, a lot of troubles, if they didn't constantly shoot themselves in the foot and double down on their idiocy and their mistakes. But since they believe they're untouchable because they have dragons, they believe they could do whatever they want, so, sorry about this, but the sins are the sins, and to me, so far, the blacks have sinned a lot more than the Greens. And as for episode 7, they, to me, have committed the most idiotic super choices alive. Now, if there's certain things that they could have done better, maybe you could have waited a little bit after the funeral to sleep with your uncle. Maybe you could have waited after to marry him. Maybe you could plot the death a little bit quicker so the people, or a little bit different so people don't believe you all were the cause of the accident that happened to Rhaenyra's husband. You think you could have helped your cause more if you would, not get the Valyrians mad at you, your former in-laws, Rhaenyra? I mean, there's certain things certain characters could do to avoid certain situations, and I believe Daemon and Rhaenyra could avoid a lot of certain situations in their life, in their time period. But that's my personal opinion, everybody. What y'all think of this entire thing, episode 7? What y'all think about it? Am I being fair or not? What's your personal opinion? My name's Elise Scarford, everybody. Bye.